Hello everyone, Tim Brown. Welcome back to my Apple Podcast. For this episode, I want to focus on Keynote for Mavericks. That is for the desktop. My goal? To cover all the features that come with Keynote so that you can put together the most powerful presentations to date. Let's begin by starting a new project. You can begin by going to File and New, or hitting the Command shortcut key, Command N. Here you have a menu of themes to choose from. You can scroll through all of them. All of them are very impressive. Once you find one, you can then decide to choose standard or wide. Standard is going to be the standard 4:3 aspect ratio. Wide is going to be 16:9. And as soon as you choose a theme, click the choose button along the bottom. The first thing you want to do is format your slide view. Right now the slide is at 100%. You cannot see the entire widescreen format. There are several ways to fix this. One, you can go to the percentage icon in the top left and just select a lower percentage, say 50%. Or you can go to View and then select Zoom Out. Or you can use the shortcut key, Shift Command, and the less than sign until you reach the desired dimension. So you can see here I have a title slide set up by default. You can set up additional slides several ways. One, you can go to Slide and then New Slide, or you can use the shortcut key Shift Command N to insert a new slide. Or you can just simply go to the plus symbol along the bottom and then select from a menu of options. Regardless of what slide you choose, formatting options are always available for you. In the top right corner, when you select Format, you'll see that you can select the drop-down menu, which will give you quick access to all the other slide templates in case you want to change the arrangement. The menu along the top is what you use to import your content. So for example, you can add tables to your project. You can add charts that are 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional, as well as interactive. You can add text, shapes, and media from your iTunes library, including playlists, photos from your iPhoto library, including your photo stream, and movies. You're not limited to accessing content from iTunes or iPhoto. For example, you can bring up a Finder window and go to a location on your computer and just drag media directly from the Finder window into your project like so. And once you have added content to your slides, you can then begin to have a whole lot of fun formatting and animating your project. So I'm going to go ahead and select the photo here, and then I'm going to go to Format in the top right, and then first start with Style. With Style selected, you see that I have a range of frames to choose from. Just by selecting them, the frame changes automatically. You can then go through and add the same style to each frame. Under Style, you also have the ability to control borders as well. So for example, here we have picture frame selected, but you can choose to have no border at all or choose a line instead. You can also choose to add shadows and reflections to your images as well. So for example, if I add a drop-down shadow, you'll see that a shadow will begin to appear along the bottom as I slide the offset button down below. You can also increase the blur and control the angle as well. Continuing under the Format menu with an image selected, we can now go to the Image menu, and you'll see here we have several options to choose from as far as editing your photos go. For example, you can edit the mask, which will enable you to control how much of the photo you want to be within the mask. You can also choose to enlarge the image as well, move around and position it where you want, and then click Done. Also, there's a very nice feature that I've never used before. I don't think it was available in previous versions. Instant Alpha. This is really awesome. By selecting Instant Alpha, you can basically select areas within a photo that you want to be transparent. So for example, if I select this one and I gradually move the cursor through the photo, I can begin to select other areas that I want transparent. When you finish, click Done. With the image selected, you can also control the exposure of your photo, the saturation, as well as bring up advanced tools for making adjustments to the image. Under Format, if we go to the Arrange tab, you'll see here that you have the option to move images backward and forward. You can adjust the alignment, the size, and decide to constrain proportions or deselect that option. You can change the position from here, as well as control the rotation of objects, as well as flip them horizontally or vertically. You can also have the option to lock an image in place or unlock it later on. With Keynote, you can have just as much fun adding video to your slides as well. For example, let me bring up a Finder window, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this podcast intro into one of the placeholders here. And now I can go ahead and edit this control under the Format menu. With Movie now being highlighted, I can go in and control the volume of this clip. I can then trim the video if I wanted to start at a different point in time. I can also adjust the poster frame. So this is the image that the viewers will see in static mode. You can choose to repeat the video or loop it back and forth. You can choose to have the movie start on click or deselect that option. With that deselected, the movie will play automatically. So let's play that back. With Keynote, you can have a lot of fun formatting your images and your media, but you can have just as much fun animating them as well. And you can animate your content in two different ways. One, you can animate the slides and or the individual elements within the slide. Let's begin with the slides. With the first slide selected, I'm going to go over to Animate, and I'm going to click Add an Effect. And you can see a long menu of options. I'm going to go through each one. Let's start with Appear and Move. Apple recently added a few new transitions, and I'm going to go ahead and feature those for this demo. The first one, Clothesline. I'm going to select that, and it immediately gives you a preview of what that's going to look like. You can also choose to start the transition on click or have the transition come in automatically. The delay determines how slow it will come in. So if I increase the delay, it's going to be a little slower the next time around. So let's click Preview. See, it's a little slower this time around. Let's go ahead and choose another one for the second slide. Add Effect. Under Appear and Move, I'm going to click Droplet this time because that's another new one. And for the third one, I'm going to click Add Effect. And I'm going to click Switch. Okay, that's good enough. Let's go ahead and play those effects back. You also have other types of transitional effects to choose from. For example, if I scroll down to Flip, Spin, and Scale, you'll see I'll have different types of transitions. There's one. Let's add another one to the second slide. On the Flip, Spin, and Scale, we're going to choose Doorway. And let's go ahead and choose one more. Twist or Twirl. There you go. So you have three different options. Once again, you can control the delay of that transition as well if you want to. Let's go ahead and play those back to see what they look like. In addition to animating your slides, you can also animate individual elements within a slide. So for example, on this first slide, if I select this photo image here, you'll see that a different menu of options will appear on the top right. Build in action, build out. with built in, we're going to build in this action for this photo. We wanted to do something when this slide comes in. We're going to click and add an effect, and we're going to go ahead and choose move in. So that's essentially what will happen when that slide comes in. This image will then move in from the right. We also want the text to do something as well. So let's go ahead and add an effect to the text as well. And we're going to select move in for the text also. And you'll see here under order that it's now listed as the second item. Now let's choose the text underneath, choose add an effect, choose move in for that. And now you can see under order, it's now number 3. So each one will come into the slide in that particular order. So let's go ahead and play that back. Now I set each one up to come in on click. You can control how you want that to happen by selecting build order. So rather than have start on click, I'm going to put after transition. So it'll come in automatically. With this first text option, I wanted to come in with build 1 or after build 1. I'm going to actually have it come in at the same time with build 1. So they're all going to happen all at once. I'm going to select the next text box and give it the same option with build 1. That means that each element will come into the slide at the same time. So let's go ahead and play it back. So in addition to builds, you can also add actions to your images as well. For example, if I select one image, go to action, add an effect, I can then choose a particular action that I want to happen at a particular time during my presentation. So for example, I may want this image to blink at one point, and this other image I want to jiggle. And you see that they will come in at different orders. So this is the second effect, and this other one is the first effect. And I want it that way because that's how I want to present it during my talk. So let's go ahead and play this back. So I now have my slide up on screen. To the left is the MacBook Pro still in the box. And on the right are the power cables that came with it. Now you can also use actions in other ways. For example, by selecting an image, I'm going to add an effect, and this time I'm going to move this image. You can then select that image and then decide where you want to move it to. In this case, I want to move it outside the frame. And that's in order number 1. Now I'm going to add another action and do the same thing. I'm going to select move. Only this time I'm going to move that one in place of the other one. That's now the second order. And let's go ahead and play that back. Now to add to the complexity, I'm actually going to add a third image. And I want this image to come in right in place of this other image. So I'm going to place it right on top of that. And instead of giving this a action, I'm going to actually give this a build. So I'm going to add effect, and then the build in is going to be move in. So it's going to move from the outside frame and into this area. And you see that it's order number 3. So I'm going to move the 2 images as the first 2 steps. And then this built in is going to come in as the third option. So let's go ahead and play that back. Move out, first action, move over, second action, and now my build in is going to be third. So let's go ahead and move over to this setup icon. Under presentation, you see you have the option to play slideshow automatically or loop slideshow. You can control your presentation type and or slide size. You can even require a password to open the presentation. Under the audio tab, you have the option to actually add narration to your presentation. This comes in handy for those who were unable to attend the presentation. Let me show you how it works. So you click record. Your presentation is launched full screen. On the top right, there's an icon that enables you to show various different features, including the next slide, presenter notes, and so forth. When you're ready to record, click the record button at the bottom. Hi everyone, my name is Tim Brown, and this presentation highlights my new MacBook Pro. On the left is the store where I purchased it in Birmingham, Alabama. On the top right is a podcast intro that I created. I just want to show you a little clip of that. Here you can see other components. On the right are the cables that came with my MacBook Pro. And there's the MacBook Pro still in the box. And the cables still in the box. And here's a full collage of all the components that came with my MacBook Pro. Once you record narration, that narration now becomes a part of your presentation. Whenever you play it, that narration will be included. If you want to remove the recording, just go to play and then select clear recording. Keynote also comes with some great export features. So if you go to File, Export to, you see you have the option to save as a PDF, PowerPoint, QuickTime, HTML, as well as save each slide as an image. Since this presentation still has the narration added to it, if I save this presentation to a QuickTime video, that narration will be included, as well as all the transitions and build-ins as well. So for example, let's go ahead and just export this to QuickTime. Okay, let's go ahead and play back the QuickTime movie. Hi everyone, my name is Tim Brown, and this presentation highlights my new MacBook Pro. So as you can hear and see, the narration has been included along with the transitions, as well as the builds as well. And finally, another huge advantage to using Keynote for Mavericks is that you can now save your projects in the cloud. You can save them to your desktop, of course, but now you have iCloud as an option. This enables you to view your presentation in a browser later on. You can also view your presentations on your iOS devices as well. So this is a great feature to have. And that is my overview of Keynote for Mavericks. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of my Podcast. Check me out next time.